the end of the first innings, we said, what did we think about the score? And without Freeborn, it would have looked very sorry tale, and having one person to anchor it. That's a lovely looking shot through the covers from Grace Scrivens, and it will just be the one. Without that input from Abby Freeborn, that 93, it would have been a very sorry tale, the Sparks batting lineup. And we said, if they can prevent someone from doing a similar thing and really taking the reins and taking on this chase, it could have been tight. But Grace Scrivens is quashing that at the moment. As Grucock faces up, and that's solid in defence and fielded by Hannah Baker.
They had their chances, didn't they? They had both Griffith on 0 and Scrivens on 24. If they'd taken one of those, if not both of those, then this would be a very, very different game. But the fact those have gone down is a problem.
Nicely worked into the leg side by Grucock. They do collide in the middle, the two batters, but everyone seems okay.
I had a rather lovely lap, though. I went the opposite way to Ashley Giles and Laura McLeod, former England cricketers, chatting away to our right-hand side there, but had a little sit in the bush shelter.
Oh, yeah.
Stand over there. Enjoyed that. It's a very nice view. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because of the angle. I thought I'm going to end up kind of just on an angle I don't like here. But actually, it's really nice because you can look right towards that beautiful pavilion with the weather vane on top and the sloped terracotta roofs and the black and white decor, and it's absolutely fantastic view. It's a great place to watch cricket.
And I also think you're up a little bit of a slope, so you're slightly raised.
Yeah. No, as I say, I just thought I was going to end up kind of on the wrong angle, but because it was the left-handed Scrivens batting, I sort of ended up at extra cover, which is where it is now for Grucock, who's also left-handed.
In round the wicket, and that's defended by the left-handed Grucock. Yeah, I have this image of you just sort of hanging out in the bus shelter. Fackrell in again, and that's full, and that's defended up to mid-off, and there's again no run.
But the other good place was sort of where the kind of bar area is between the pavilion and the Masonic Lodge.
You had me at bar area. Well, Fackrell, she's made the breakthrough. That is the end of Grucock. She's been struck on the pad. Umpire's finger goes up, and it's not the dangerous Scrivens, but it is a wicket.
And that's the first of the kind of, we said they needed a couple of breakthroughs. If they can get Scrivens now, all of a sudden there'll be a bit of a wobble in that Sunrisers lineup. They lost a lot of games of cricket before this little run of 5 out of 6 that they are now on, going back into last season. And they look one of the strongest teams in the competition at the moment, but they had that habit of not winning games of cricket, not lots of close finishes they ended up on the wrong side of. So if Sparks can just get Scrivens out here, and ideally in fairly short time having got Grucock out as well, they could create a bit of a wobble, and there could be a chance here to sort of change the course of this game.
Yeah, and they'd feel very happy then. They would have 2 new batters out in the middle. But yeah, they're very good at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. That's what their problem was, the Sunrisers. They were always there or thereabout, and it wasn't that they were the worst team. They just had what my mum would call after Sainsbury's moments, when they just sort of fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sticks in my head is that Maddie Villiers is such a good fielder, but that the Maddie Villiers overthrows in the last ball of the Charlotte Edwards Cup, where it looked at that point when she picked the ball up for all the world that they were going to win the game, and the throw just went spearing over the wicketkeeper and for 4 overthrows, and it was things like that, wasn't it, that were happening to Sunrise. But it seems now that Scrivens is in charge that they are a different team, and I wouldn't put it past her to finish 120 not out here and win the game almost on her own.
That was also one of those games that you couldn't gauge it from just a scorecard and a match report. There was so much that went
just in
on.
the last ball.
There was so much that went on, and then all the way down to that last ball, it could have been a match report in itself.
And it was telling at the start of last season, they beat Vipers in their first game. And it was almost as if they'd... And then they then struggled for a while after beating Vipers to get their second win. And it was almost as if they'd kind of almost set up their pre-season, that they were kind of going to be ahead of everyone else coming into that first game. And in terms of where they were at with their cricket, because they were winning a lot of their pre-season games the season before this one. And it just seemed like they'd almost targeted everything on, we're going to prove to ourselves we can beat the Vipers because they're the best. But then it wasn't until we came back for that little bit of the kind of after the 100 that they really started winning more games. But as I say, 4 out of 5. They beat the Sparks last season. Another game where Abby Freeborn got runs. So they look this season now as if they could really go all the way potentially.
Talking of Maddie Villiers, she's now come out to the middle, so we're back to the right-hand, left-hand combination. Fackrell over the wicket, and that's defended off the back foot by Villiers, and there's no run.
Good player to have coming out as well. I mean, as much as, you know, we were talking about those overthrows, it was such a surprise because it was Maddie Villiers, and she is as good a cricketer as she is, and I think she does have a good temperament.
Again, played off the back foot, not quite timed into the leg side. Picked up by Hannah Baker, and again, no run. She's also got that cricket brain, you know, she's a seasoned pro, still very young, but she's been around that England side, she's been in this setup for a while, so she's got a mature head on her shoulders. And she's almost been bowled there. Fackrell making things happen. Well, she's yet to get off the mark here, Maddie Villiers, but Grace Scrivens will be facing up to start the next over.
I don't know if you've noticed this in the Blaze v Diamonds game. Forgive me if it's something that only I've just noticed and you've already discussed on the stream, but Kirsty Gordon opened the batting today for the Blaze.
Well, it's a very strange... Blaze at the moment, I think they're having a bit of trouble. We talk about this.
Well, they've lost 3 of their
qualifiers.
top 4.
They are double Bryceless, because they're both out playing with Scotland. They're Boyceless, they're Siver Bruntless. So it is quite difficult when you sort of lose such key members of your side to then build it around that and think who's going to open, who's going to come in where, and who's going to bowl those, you know, the sort of filler overs in the middle. It's
strange, though, that the one player out of their top 4 that got them to the final last season was Marie Kelly, and they've dropped her down to number 4 today. So they now have none of their top 4 in the positions they were in last season when they got to the final. But it seems to be working okay. I mean, Gordon is out for 19, but they're 89 for 3, chasing 189.
As a first time, really, we've seen it beat the outside edge of Grace Scrivens. She looks for the straight drive and goes through to the gloves of Abby Freeborn. He doesn't take it cleanly.
She thought the off stump might be interfering before it reached her gloves there. Good bit of bowling. So yeah, so Blaze need another, they're 90 for 3 now, they need 99 more to beat the Northern Diamonds with best part of 25 overs left.
That's much better. From Scrivens, it beats the diving fielder at mid-wicket. And she comes through for the 1 run.
32 for 2, the Western Storm. They're going to need 299 to beat the South East Stars, and they're going to need to do it in 44 overs. So the Stars look the best side in the competition at the moment by some distance. Southern Vipers look fairly comfortable in their chase against Thunder.
Ellis over the wicket, and that's wide down the leg side. Grace Scrivens. Very loud call of wide from the umpire there. I could even hear it through the headphones.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's nice of them, really, just to let us know.
Isn't it?
So Southern Vipers 133 for 5, chasing 207 to beat Thunder. Seren Smale got 99 in that game and was run out.
Ellis in. And that's given a bit more flight, and it's full, and it's just Scrivens looking to just drive that into the leg side. And again, no run.
Important to stress, though, that run out, I think, was off the last ball. It was certainly the last over. Let me double check that, but I think she was attempting to just keep running because it was the end of the innings.
Ellis in again, right arm over. Scrivens finds the outside edge, lands safe, and fielded out on the boundary. Deep point. And they come through for the one. Another one to Grace Scrivens. She moves on to 74.
I tell a lie, it was with 3 balls of the innings to go.
It's a lovely looking drive from Grace Scrivens. It does hit Rhea Fackrell on its way through, but it's raced away, and that's another 4 to Grace Scrivens.
Lovely shot again, lovely timing. But yes, it was as heartbreaking as it sounds then to be run out with 3 balls to spare there from Seren Smale on 99. And it looks as if the Southern Vipers are going to rub salt in the wound the way the Southern Vipers often do by chasing the runs down.
Well, Grace Scrivens, 78 to her name, wielding that bat. And again, there's that drive through the covers. Copy and paste of the one before. Katie George does well to get round and cut it off, and they will come back for the second as Scrivens moves to 80.
So yeah, Grace Scrivens, Sparks have to get her out here, or the game feels as if it's going to race away from them fairly quickly. If they can get her out, though, who knows? It could well be a very different game for the Sparks, but while Scrivens is there, it's going to be very, very difficult indeed. Rhea Fackrell is going to be bowling from this railway end, and she'll continue those tweaking off spinners, having had a pretty good go at this so far. Picked up a couple of wickets, one of them LBW, getting Grucock for 5, and also getting Cordelia Griffith as that first ball is driven down the onside to Grace Potts, easily dealt with, and yeah, getting Griffith for 37. So 2 important breakthroughs for Fackrell, just trying to spin her team back into the game here. Delivers again, right arm over the wicket, hit nicely away by the new batter Vilas, but only finds the captain Eve Jones. 30 for 2 now, Fackrell's figures. She's into her 7th over of work here. And creeping in, heel to toe. Will deliver. Right arm over the wicket, looking for the caught and bowled. Fingertips were close, but not close enough as it drifts down towards the boundary. Potts chases, gets there in time, and it's returned by Arlett, and there'll be a low 5 between the two.
Well, you know what? That was nearly an Alex Hartley. He talks about 33% of all full tosses get wickets. Well, that was hit straight back up towards Fackrell. If she was perhaps the height of Grace Scrivens or Emily Arlett, that would have been night-night Maddie Villiers.
Score moves on to 134 for 3 as that's cut away nicely. Really good shot, that one. And that'll find the boundary at cover. And that's very nicely hit away in front of square on the offside. 4 more to the total, 138 for 3. And it's a total which is moving away at some pace from the Central Sparks. And Villiers trying to play her part now with her captain, Scrivens.
Yeah, she was looking a little tetchy with her batting. She wasn't quite getting into it, but now looking much more comfortable. The right-hand, left-hand combo working nicely.
Fackrell delivers, and this one's pushed leg side. It finds Baker, no run to mid-wicket.
Fackrell bowling in those sunnies. There's a few hats on still. It's very bright out here, actually.
It's a spinner's look, isn't it? The sunglasses, as in comes Fackrell into the pitch this time, and a bit short and hit away through wide long on for 4 off the back foot. That's some shot from Maddie Villiers, and it's a second boundary of the over. 142 for 3. Villiers into double figures onto 11, and I think Villiers has come out, and she always comes out in aggressive fashion, but I think here she's thinking, if I can get a quick 20-30, this game is done.
These two are a great prime example of the fact that timing can just mean everything. If you look at, Grace Scrivens, she's much taller, much broader player than Maddie Villiers, who's very slight, but they're both, even when Grace Scrivens isn't going to muscle the ball, it's all about that timing, and that's what Maddie Villiers is doing so well here. That was all timing. She didn't have to go for the big swing, didn't have to muscle it, and it had 4 written all over it from the moment it came off her bat.
Yeah, lovely stroke there. There's no change in the bowling. It's going to be Ellis again, and it's going to be Scrivens again to drive powerfully down the ground, but doesn't find a run. But again, the timing's there, isn't it, for Scrivens today? And she started on the rather marvellous figure of 1,111 Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy runs, while she's added another 80 to those today. So 1,191 Rachael Heyhoe Flint Trophy runs, and she'll pick up some more here with a full toss driven out to Katie George on the cover boundary. Returns well, as George always does, but costs a run. 143 for 3.
I was waiting on your maths there. They're adding the 80 to the 1,111.
Was that right?
Yeah, you are.
Oh,
yeah,
thank goodness for that.
It's the kind of number I like to see. You know, when your car ticks over to that many miles.
Yes.
Mine's done a hell of a lot more than that, but
yeah, mine's gone past the 100,000, which is never great. As this one's short, and Villiers just punching it down the ground with a flourish of the bat. It was a baseball punch. She cleared the leg and managed to sort of flat bat it, but off the front foot down the ground. 4 runs, 147 for 3. This game very quickly getting away from the Sparks. You'll be hearing around about the 30 over mark from Claire Jenkins, who will be rejoining us then. You're also with Georgie Heath and myself, Mike Perkins, on the Central Sparks YouTube stream. And Villiers is going again. Powerful shot. Fingertips on it from Fackrell, who was sort of at a straightish mid-wicket. It still gets up to long on, but only for 1 run because the fielder had gone back. 148 for 3.
She's making it look easy, actually. Maddie Villiers come out to join Grace Scrivens, who we thought was the aggressor, but Villiers is saying, actually, anything you can do, I can do too.
And it just seemed as if we were going to see a very, very different chase when the new ball was doing bits, but 2 dropped catches at that point. A dropped catch of Scrivens on 24, crucially the really costly one, as this one's pushed back up to what is long off for Scrivens, the left-hander. Another 1 to the total, 149 for 3. The chase 214, remember. And this is beginning to look easier and easier work as the Sunrisers innings progresses. Villiers already on to 16 off 13. She's come to the crease with real intent. Ellis bowls and Villiers clipping in the air. Now this could be caught. Oh, and it's another brilliant catch from Katie George. A second brilliant catch of the innings. And Maddie Villiers is out. She beats her pad with her bat as she walks off. And it was a brisk, breezy 16. But she's been caught off the bowling of Bethan Ellis by Katie George, marvellously diving forward, and Villiers is out.
Well, that is just what the Sparks needed. These two were racing along well, and again, picks out the one fielder you don't want to see on the end of a shot like that. Katie George, we've already seen her take a marvellous catch today, and that's her second of the day. Well, Maddie Villiers, she knows about being the one to take speckies, and today it's her that's got to go because of one. It was a nice looking innings, and Grace Scrivens still out there in the middle, the captain. But it will be a new batter to come out and join her in the middle, and Sparks just come through for a chat there, having a couple of drinks, and you wonder what will be being said in there. They'll be thinking, if we can just get another quick one,
yeah,
maybe we can get back in this.
But the one has to be Scrivens, doesn't it? That's
It
the
does.
thing
It
about
does,
this
yes.
game. It's if Scrivens stays there, the game's done. But out will come the new batter, Mara Carr. We usually see at this stage, and he's just going to have a little chat with Grace Scrivens. Obviously the pair crossed, but it'll be the new batter who faces, because those are the rules now. So slight difference in height, as you'd expect, between a sort of tall, formidable opener who captains and a wicketkeeper in Amara Carr. Amara Carr made a 50 last time she played against Sparks, as did Scrivens, and the other 50 maker on that day was Maddie Villiers, and that saw them to their total on that occasion. Although of course it's a change of over, so it won't be the new batter to face. The new batter will actually go to the non-strikers. It's all very confusing when it used to when there was a way that it used to be done, and it's now
They
changed.
just like to keep us on our toes, don't they? Don't want us getting sleepy.
Well, yeah, they're certainly doing their best for that. It's just slightly darkening in the sky, but I don't think there's any danger of rain just yet. I don't think that's due till at least the 5 till 6 hour. Oh, that's a good ball from Grace Potts, who bowled very well in her first spell, taking 1 for 28 from 5 overs and beats the outside edge again. I mean, 1 for 28 from 5 overs doesn't sound brilliant, but she was beating the edge, finding the edge of Griffith, got the edge of Dowse, and that got the catch from George. So, unfortunately, Grace Potts just not getting the look in that first spell. Finds the outside half of the bat again. It's out to backward point. Dot ball recorded. Scrivens 18 away from a century.
I've never scored a century in professional cricket. I know that'll surprise a lot of you. Do you think you just wake up that day and go, you know, I really feel it today?
I doubt it. I don't think you know until you sort of get to this stage, and then you think, maybe, as Scrivens just dibble-dabbled that one back down the pitch with a little swish of the bat.
Well, just for a bit of context, at this point, Sparks were 100 for 3. And Sunrisers 149 for 4 in their chase, so well ahead of where Sparks were.
Although the wickets column's not that different, I suppose, is the only part of that, as that one's again just pushed. Ball that hit a good length and rose a little at Scrivens, but no run on offer once more.
And should the heavens open immediately.
Oh, you're not got the DLS.
The DLS
oh, very good.
115.
Very good. Yeah, they're well ahead at this point. There's Scrivens waits. Potts delivers in towards the pads, and that'll bring up the 150 for Sunrisers. And it's been largely built on Grace Scrivens, who's got more than half of those runs at 83 now. 150 for 4. So Amara Carr comes to the crease and is going to join Grace Scrivens and probably hope to see a team through those remaining 64 required for victory. Well in control of this game at the moment, the Sunrisers, who've been in very, very good form this season. Scrivens does have 100 before for Sunrisers. I saw that one at Loughborough. Dowse got there first with 105, and then Scrivens got 107 that day as Carr drives up to Emily Arlett, but it would be only the 3rd century for a player in Sunrisers kit in a competitive game, so very, very important milestone for Scrivens. I did freeborn out of it earlier, so it feels only right to start bringing up the 3 figures at this stage.
Yeah, fair enough. You can have that.
But I think, given the situation of the game, there's a bit less pressure on Scrivens at the moment than there is, or than there was, on Abby Freeborn, because she was trying to get her team to the total. It didn't happen in the end. She was sort of almost out Freeborn, kind of sacrificing herself, going after runs. That was a great catch from Villiers.
Yeah, she was very unlucky with the field that she picked out as well.
Speaking of the field, a little bit of a change between sort of square leg and mid-wicket. Mid-wicket is now the one back on the boundary, as we have a change of bowling too. It's Baker who is clapped away on the cut, out to George on the boundary, returned 1 bounce, and there is just 1 more to the total, 151. Scrivens on 84. I suppose as much as they need Scrivens out, they could maybe build a bit of pressure just by trying to bowl at the new batter to the crease, Amara Carr, and keep her bottled up. But I mean, it's just so hard in one-day cricket to stop a batter scoring, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd be different as well, I guess, if they were 7 down and Scrivens was out there running out of partners.
Baker into the pitch there, so it was a bit on the short side. It was swept out to backward square leg on the boundary. Amy Campbell with the return, 1 more to the total, 152. And Amy Campbell, of course, an excellent guest on the Women's Cricket
Excellent guest on
Chat
Women's
podcast.
Cricket Chat. Talked lots of different things. Cricket.
There's Baker Bowls, a podcast available from all good podcast providers, as this one is dabbled down on the cut, the late cut, and Scrivens sends Amara Carr back. 153 the total moves on to.
Yeah, it was really interesting actually chatting to Amy, because she was diagnosed with ADHD just last year, so hearing how she works that into her cricket and her training and being bored in the outfield sometimes.
Baker bowls, Carr taps it away into the offside behind square on the defensive, no run.
And coping with that side of thing, but then also having to balance her medication and taking new medication and then having to find that right dosage while also trying to train to be a professional sportswoman.
Baker bowls slightly short of length, and that allowed Carr the opportunity to try and cut, but lacked the power to beat the field. Another dot ball.
It's very interesting talk. Having taken different medications or whatever myself, you know, you find yourself in a very strange place sometimes, and then you've got to go and train.
Thrown up, and Carr pushes to mid-wicket again for no run. 153 for 4 at the end of the over. Yeah, it was a very, very open chat, wasn't it, from Amy Campbell?
Yeah, she's great. She's a very good egg as well. We're definitely one of those people who'll send me dog photos when she thinks you need to cheer up. So I always send her dog. You know you've got a pal when they just randomly send you dog pictures, being like, "This made me think of you today. Thought I'd send you it." And I'm like, as long as you don't mean I look like the dog, that's fine. So
well, dog photos are always needed. Let's bring Claire Jenkins back in. I'm sure Tuffers, who's having a little snooze, will provide us with plenty more dog photos as well. And in fact, Claire's going to come in for me first, and we'll swap it round that way. So, quick thought from Claire Jenkins.
It's Potts to continue. That's clipped off the legs by Grace Scrivens, and it'll just be the 1 run.
Just the 1 to the total then?
Yeah, sorry everyone, I forgot our little order of swapping there. I got that very wrong. How are you, Claire? What are you reckoning?
Well, I mean, another couple of wickets and could be finely poised.
Yeah, it's one of those. I was just saying to Georgie, it's got to be Scrivens though, hasn't it? Really, at this stage, it's ticking away now. 60 more required, in fact, as Carr just taps this one on the forward defence into the offside. There will be a run on offer, and it's gratefully taken. So 155 for 4, 59 more needed. Pictures back onto our left-hand side, which is good to see, and I'm glad you've been enjoying them all at home as well throughout the day. Cricket at Chester Road, Kidderminster, which is always fantastic to have with us. As in comes Potts, shorter length that time, forcing Scrivens back defensively. But she's just looking very, very solid, isn't she, Claire?
Yeah, timing the ball beautifully. It's all style and timing really with Grace Scrivens today. She's enjoying this track, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, she looks as if, with an informed Grace Scrivens, as if she could guide Sunrisers to being really, really competitive for the trophy this season. Back she goes and cuts away out to the fielder at cover, and she's almost saying at the moment, yeah, if you want me to do it in ones, I'll do it in ones here, because she moves on to 87, 13 away from what would be a second century in a Sunrisers shirt, but she's contributed in every edition of the competition, has Grace Scrivens, and continues to be a very, very useful operator indeed. Potts on her way. They're probably the most dangerous of the Sparks bowlers. Delivers right into the middle of a forward defence from Amara Carr, coming forward to meet that good length ball. Remains 156 for 4.
Yeah, I was kind of enjoying Scrivens playing with Vilas because that felt like the kind of perfect combination. So it'd be interesting to see how these two bat together.
Well, if that had gone on for any longer, the
Yeah,
game really
that
was gone, because it
just-
was more than one a ball, that partnership, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 137 runs in the first edition of the competition for Scrivens as Carr looks for the cut shot, doesn't reach it, and it will be a wide ball. 157 for 4 the total moves on to with the extra. So yeah, Scrivens 137 in the first edition, 161 in the second edition, 297 in the third edition, 398 in the fourth edition, and she looks like she could beat that 398 again this season. Sort of her scores are going in the right direction. Obviously there have been more games through those editions, but not everyone's scores have been going in that direction, on that trajectory, and that's why England are interested, as Carr taps this one down to third and brings the aforementioned Scrivens back onto strike. 157-4-4. And I mean, barring something extraordinary happening, we will see Grace Scrivens captain England, I would have thought.
I think it's highly likely. Yeah, she's clearly got the temperament for it as well, but the grit, having seen her captain the under-19s, she kind of really single-handedly took them through that semi-final with Australia, and I think they were just outclassed in the final with India because India were so much more experienced and just wise to conditions, I think. And I think the Australia game probably wore them out in some ways.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about captaining a senior team, aren't we? Because she's already captained the under-19s, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
A little bit of spinning from one hand to the other for Baker, who comes in and delivers, and then it's cut away into the offside. Good, almost like a goalkeeper save there from Brewer in the offside. I think partly in self-preservation. In fact, it was Courtney Webb who did it. I must confess, Courtney Webb, I was expecting to sort of be saying her name more in the field. I don't know why. I've not sort of said her name too much. Maybe it's because I keep thinking she's Chloe Brewer. Who knows?
And it isn't. She wasn't off.
Good stop there.
She wasn't the one that was off for Amy Campbell. No,
I
she
think it was Davina Perrin, as that one's driven away out to cover. There will be one run that is taken to Katie George. So the total is on to 160 for 4. Yeah, I think it is. It was Perrin who was off, as this one was cut away, and away runs Fackrell after it, and she won't get there, and it pops up over the rope, and Webb pursued it as well, but neither could get there. 164 for 4, and that's a nice shot from Amara Carr. Takes her to 8.
Yeah, just the 50 needed now for Sunrise. It feels like it's dripping away from Central Sparks without a breakthrough with the bowling.
Yeah, I mean, if Sunrisers lose it from here, then I think they've only got themselves to blame. That's a good ball by Baker, who has 8 wickets from the first 3 games of this competition. Spun one past the off stump there into the gloves. No addition to the score, given the bat was not involved. Bowls again down the leg side, swept. Lovely sweep from Amara Carr, and that one's going to go all the way for 4. Pops up off the rope, and 168 for 4 is the score in this game. As you say, Claire, could very, very quickly get away from the Central Sparks. 46 more required. It's a rank ball, it has to be said, by Barker, and it got what it deserved, which was a sweep to the fine leg boundary. But it's all about not missing out for a batter like Carr, who then was almost tempted into playing that. Just sort of followed it, and then gave up on the idea of playing it and settled for a dot ball to finish the over. So going well here for the Sparks. 168 for 4.
Freeborn looked interested then. I think she thought there might have been a stumping opportunity.
Yeah, she'll be ruining that drop of Scrivens, won't she, on 24? I mean, it looks like costing the game at the moment, albeit that Freeborn was the one who had set an opportunity for Sparks to win the game up with her 93.
Great bowling from Potts to get those catch chances. You take them, you don't take them, don't you?
Yeah, she deserves a 3 for rather than a 1 for Potts, as she's charging in again from the railway end of the ground. Delivers right arm over, pushed into the offside. There is no run on offer from that particular delivery. It's full in length.
I'm going to get away with the weather though, Mike. Hopefully. She says
so,
touching the wood on the table.
Yeah, it's... I mean, that tarp is there. At the moment, I feel like, why have I unwrapped that tarp? Because we're not going to use it, and I'm going to have to put it away at the end. But I think actually, as Potts delivers, you might be right. We might not need it at all.
Hopefully not so shy. Woo.
Bethan Ellis attempts to throw down the stumps from mid-wicket, and then doesn't do so. So the one more added, 169 total. Carr has 12 of them. Scrivens now has 89. And that is looking like being the innings that will win the game at the moment. She's faced exactly 100 balls now. Oh no, she had before that single, in fact, as Potts bowls. Carr pushes firmly in the direction of mid-on. And fielding's done for no run. But yeah, I mean, the Sparks as well, they just have that air of a team that knows what's coming for them here. Only seen 3 overs of Arlo, which is slightly surprising. In comes Potts again. Whisked around the corner from short of length by Carr. She was almost down onto one knee as she played. That was almost a sweep shot off the seam bowler there. Adds one more, 170 for 4, so another 44 required in this chase of 214. And Potts will approach on this lengthy run once again. Delivering the ball now and flicked away into the onside. Brewer in pursuit, round the rope she goes. Picks up good 8/10 of the distance to the boundary in the end. So she'd come off that boundary quite considerably in the end.
Sparks need to get a breakthrough here, don't they?
Yeah, they've got to make something happen, and they've got to make something happen quickly because they've only got 44 runs left to play with. Carr faces up, cuts into the offside, finds backward point, and there is no run on offer as a result of that. Brings another over to an end. Scrivens on 90, 171 for 4. It's all about, will Grace Scrivens get this 100, Claire Jenkins?
Well, it looks likely, doesn't it? She's got because they need 43 more runs, so what can Sparks muster up? What trap could they possibly set for Scrivens?
We will continue to keep you updated on the scores elsewhere. It's been brilliant having as many of you as we have had throughout the day here, both on the Worcestershire County Cricket Club YouTube channel and also the Central Sparks YouTube channel. Been great to have. I think it was 36,000 was the figure across that, and the Facebook page as well for Worcestershire County Cricket Club in the first innings, as that one's driven up to long off for another one of those singles that Scrivens is happy to progress using. 91 she's now on to. 172 the score for the loss of just 4 wickets. And this would be an achievement for the Sunrisers to win their 6th game out of 7 as Carr pushes this one into the onside, just in the 4th game of this season. And Baker gets the ball back. She's got a bit of magic in those fingers, so who knows, but it's looking increasingly unlikely.
Well, she would seem the most likely from having watched her, you know, the last few seasons, but particularly Saturday before last at Edgbaston, and she seems the most likely bowler to get a wicket potentially at this stage.
As in comes Baker again. Appeal for caught behind. Abby Freeborn was interested, the umpire was not.
Oh, there was the bowler. Baker just turned her back.
Baker again bowls and hit over the top high, and that one will bounce a couple of times and away for 4, and it moves Scrivens up to 95, just breaking the pattern of singles for a moment there with a lofted shot over the infield.
Nice. She's on a long fuse, isn't she? She's been very patient with this innings, as well as the timing being right.
She will look to continue to progress with a little push into the onside. Carr, I think, knew before Scrivens that it had beaten the fielder and the single was on offer. And she takes the single quite easily in the end. So 178 for 4. Another 22-36 more required, as this one is hit away by Carr on the cut stroke and reduces that number by another single. So nice stroke, 179 for 4. Sorry, 35 more required, I beg your pardon. Little chat mid-pitch. It's looking fairly comfortable over there in that marvellous pavilion here at Kidderminster, though, now. These two, I think, have their eyes set on guiding it through for the Sunrisers.
Yep.
Carr's certainly not going to give the chances that Vilas was. I mean, I suppose the other thing is, I said, there's no way they're going to chase this inside 40 overs. If they get a bit of a wiggle on, there's a bonus point on offer there. I'm sure Scrivens will want to go past the 3 figures before she opens the shoulders, but if she gets there, she'll perhaps look at that.
Yeah, I think she's switched on enough to know, yeah, if we can do this in this time.
So 36 balls to score 35 runs, essentially. It'd be one a ball from here.
Century first, though, imagine.
Yes, I think that's the big factor now, isn't it? Can Grace Scrivens get to that century? She'll have to wait to see what Amara Carr does with this first ball. But sensible bat on ball cricket from here, and you feel there could be a bonus point on offer. Ellis bowls, pushed into the offside, and that one is a dot ball. So a good start from avoiding the bonus point of view for Sparks here, but other than that, I doubt that'll make too much difference to the game. Well done for finding the stream. I do think we've had a little restart on both the Central Sparks YouTube channel and the Worcestershire County Cricket Club channel, so I won't say where we are now because you've clearly already found it, but thank you for doing so, and please direct others our way, as that one's driven up to Fackrell and there is no run on offer. And this pursuit of 214 looking good for the Sunrisers, who will be 3 from 4 in terms of wins, as Ellis on away delivers a full toss, which is hit over the onside. It was just out of the reach of the mid-wicket fielder, and away for 4 runs it goes, and it was a dangerous mid-wicket fielder in the form of Katie George, who's taken 2 superb catches but just couldn't get her fingertips on that one, and certainly couldn't cling on. I suspect that went
at some speed.
Yeah, I mean, she was never really in the game there, Katie George, but then that doesn't necessarily seem to matter with Katie George in catching, as Ellis comes in, defended, and Eve Jones is quickly in to pick up and prevent a run.
I think it's great with the Sunrisers' success, because how many times have we been monitoring a game going somewhere else and them getting just so close but not quite there, and then just being snatched out and snatched away from them. So to see them actually put it all together at the same time.
Here's Ellis, right arm over the wicket, pushed into the offside. There's going to be a run on offer, and Courtney Webb will do the fielding on this occasion. 1 more to the total, 184 for 4. But yeah, I think you're right there, and I think they've gone about it in the right way. They've brought through a sort of a range of cricketers as well. You know, you had the likes of Tani Griffith, you've got Surin Kumar on the books at the moment. It's an area where cricket's kind of trying to increase the diversity of its cricketers, and I think of all the regional sides, they've actually been the one that have probably got the best record in terms of developing players from different backgrounds. So, you know, there's the likes of Davina Perrin playing for Sparks, of course, but I think, you that's an area that I think Sunrise have actually been very strong. So it's nice seeing them get the success on the pitch as well now.
Yep.
And they've gone for young players as well, I think, as Scrivens is proving here with another 2 to the total. 98 she moves on to, 186 for 4. And that's the end of the over, Claire Jenkins, which means I think, unless Scrivens gives it away in the next 2 runs, you're going to have the pleasure of calling her 100 here.
Yes, now we've got to decide what shot she's going to play to get that 100.
Well,
She
I
played some
think
really nice point, late cuts through point.
But I think, given the way she's gone about it, it might just be
It might
a
just
push
be
to long off, a
which
push
is-
to long on. I think
which
she'd be
is
quite
smart
happy to get
cricket,
it that
isn't
way.
it? Smart
She's
cricket.
gone at nearly won a ball. Amara Carr's job, I suppose, is to get her back on strike. It's hard work, this, for the Sparks at the minute.
Need a breakthrough. Need something special here.
Yeah, and I mean, I think even with it a breakthrough now, I mean, 28 off 90, it's
But-
racing over the hill, to use that analogy.
Yeah, they've decided to see if they can get a change here and bring him back on Katie George from the far end. It's going to be a bit of pace, left arm over,
Short, do you reckon?
or left arm round. Yeah, just defended down in front of her, and there is no run. So left arm round to the left-handed, no, to the right-handed Amara Carr.
In terms of wickets, she was the equal best seamer, the 6th best bowler in the competition last year, so she'll be keen to keep adding to her tally, even if the game might be drifting away now.
Yep. George throwing everything at that ball, and it's just defended, and there is no run. Still 186 for 4.
Mention those ICC qualifiers. Zimbabwe coming up 14 runs short of their target against the Netherlands, making 121, chasing 136 in the end. Sri Lanka won by 67 runs against Uganda. Thailand versus USA, and Vanuatu v Ireland just getting underway now.
George comes into Carr, plays that forwards. It's just a push. There's a shot at the stumps. Oh, goodness me! I think that was probably close, although we're quite a long way away.
Yeah, I think she was more comfortable than we thought in the end there.
It's just a push. It wasn't necessarily into a gap, because there was a fielder sweeping it straight up. And Katie George is just moving a field now, and
Bring Scrivens back, doesn't it?
yeah, bring Scrivens back into facing. The field change for the left-handed batter. Can they trap Grace Scrivens, or can Grace Scrivens post the ball to get that magical 100? Oh, an edge. It's going to go for 4 on an edge. And that's Grace Scrivens' 100 up with a 4. Streaky edge, but they all count. There's no risk there, because there's no fielder. As she kisses the badge on her helmet and embraces Amara Carr, having hit a captain's century. 100 runs.
Brilliant innings that from
Yeah.
Grace Scrivens. Absolutely fantastic cricket from the Sunrisers opening batter and captain. And we were wondering where it was going to come. I don't think we were expecting a little stick
Tricky edge.
past the keeper, but that's how it came. 108 balls, 11 fours and 1 6 for her 102 runs.
Katie George in again. Banging it in. Scrivens plays that through the cover point region. One fielder over the top of it, and then taken off the boundary. Oh, there's a bit of a shot at the stumps, so possibly another run there. But a bit wild fielding there. So the score is 193 for 4. Sunrisers need 21 more runs. What can Central Sparks do? Desperately need some wickets here. What can Katie George serve up? Oh, straight back past the ball. That was 4 runs. Dismissed back straight past the bowler and the umpire for 4 there. And that's the 200 up as well. 202 for 4.
And with that century, and now I think this could all happen in a real hurry with
Yep.
the view of the bonus point that is on offer.
Yeah, within reach here. Katie George looking tired at the top of her mark, but coming in. She's going to give it her all. Scrivens plays that to cover, and there is no run. That's the end of the over. 36 overs gone. 198 for 4 are Sunrisers. And they need 16 more runs to win this, with a potential bonus point on offer. If they can get it done before 40 overs, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah,
Same?
40 over, inside 40 overs.
Inside
they get
40
the,
overs of bonus point.
get the bonus point. So, provided they don't reach that 40 over mark, they will get that bonus point. And as I say, at the start of this innings, I did not think, when I saw the ball starting to do things for Sparks, I didn't think we would be in this situation where they were going to win by such a margin. You've seen, as it's flashed up there, the worm, and you can see the disparity between the two sides with the Sparks.
Especially with the early
Worm
wicket for
tailing off.
for Sparks against Sunrisers as well, so it felt like it was a bit more evened up when the early wicket came.
But if they got Griffiths for naught,
Yeah.
or Griffith
And
even,
that's played too sort of gully as Potts fumbles about and they get through for a single.
and even more importantly, if they got Scrivens for 24, then it could have happened.
Oh, well,
but
yeah. Ifs and buts, isn't it? That's the problem.
yeah, that's
So
the 50
Sparks.
partnership as well.
That's good. That's in. Scrivens on 108, Carr on 22.
This might be a fairly thankless task, this over for Bethan Ellis now, to
Yeah.
grace Scrivens with 100 to a name and 15 more required to win.
Bethan Ellis to the left-handed Scrivens, right arm around the wicket. Scrivens can only defend that, and there is no run.
The Blaze starting to struggle a little at Scarborough. They're chasing 189. They need another 74 from 12.2 overs with 4 wickets remaining. Southern Vipers in a more comfortable position. They're not going to get the bonus point because they need 24 more with 10.1 overs remaining and 3 wickets, so potentially still something in that.
Scrivens rocks back but can't get the ball away and is frustrated with herself. There is no run.
There's going to be need to be some nerve held in the final stages there by Vipers, by Harmon and Monaghan, who are at the crease, numbers 8 and 9.
As Bethan Ellis rounds her mark. Scrivens is still taking her guard, so she has to refocus again. Heels flying, running away from us. Scrivens pushes that back straight to the bowler and there is no run.
Storm need another 193 to win off 23.4 overs with 8 wickets remaining. So they've got wickets in hand, but that's a huge chase against the South East Stars, who, to me, they're looking in the sort of form that the Blaze looked in last year, and it took them all the way to both finals, the Blaze. It could be a similar story for South East Stars.
Yep, Scrivens pushes that back to long off and gets through for an easy single. Another one ticked off, and that's the 200 up for Sunrisers, 200 for 4.
Very funny one we've been sent. Apparently every time Tuffers barks, Stuart Adams' cat runs and hides.
That's a bit like listening to Lisa Tarbuck with the squeaky toy on the radio.
Who let the dog in?
Sending the dogs mad. Ellis into Carr, but it goes straight through, and that's the end of the over. 200 for 4 off 37 overs. Scrivens on 109, Carr on 22. And it's just dribbling away from Sparks here. 14 runs needed to win, and 78 deliveries for them to get it in.
Yeah, and the bonus point then, that'll be another 3 overs, another 18 balls to get those 14 runs is probably the closer equation here.
And the immediate target for Scrivens presumably she'll want to be at the end now, won't she? So
Yes.
this is about getting the runs but staying in also.
And I think they probably will get that bonus point if Scrivens remains at the crease. But it'll be a big moment nonetheless for the Sunrisers.
Yeah, it's great to see that the evening up of the standards through the 5 seasons that we've watched them. All the teams perform. Sunrisers have had the bad end of some luck, but not needing luck with their performances this season. And that's just straight to the fielder, and there is no run.
And they could be the ones to challenge the Stars who look in the early season form for that place in the final. I think a Sunrisers Stars semi-final would be really interesting.
Yeah. Scrivens rocks back and plays that to mid-wicket, and they get through for a single.
But it is very early stages, isn't it? So this could all change dramatically, and we're nearing the...
And it's got the 2 halves feel, hasn't it, as well? Because you've got the bit and then the Charlotte Edwards and then the 100 and then the second half of the Rachael Heyhoe, so...
And I think we'll know a lot about Sunrisers' credentials after their next game, which is South East Stars, and their game after that, which is the Southern Vipers. So we will know going into the Charlotte Edwards Cup just how good or otherwise Sunrisers are and how much of a challenge they can put in.
Fackrell from the far end, a bit of spin, right-handed. It's coming past the fine leg fielder who's herring after it. We've got Amy Campbell picking it up, backward square. They get through for a couple of runs there. Just notching off those last few runs that they're trying to get. Score is 203 for 4. Just the 11 runs left.
Now, will we see something expansive from Carr here? Because she's sort of the wicket they've got in hand, trying to get those 11 runs in the last 15 balls. Will she go for it?
Just a little nudge down. And there is no run.
Slight disagreement between the batters on whether there was a run there.
It was straight to the fielder, so I suspect the answer was no, that there wasn't a run there, although we're at the wrong angle to judge from here.
Scrivens was keen there.
Yeah. Scrivens wants to get it done now. Have a cup of tea, put her feet up. Carr rocks back to the fielder again, but Emily Arlott has to do a bit more work and they just get through for a single. 204 for 4.
Yeah, it ended up
10 needed.
Over mid-wicket, that one, didn't it? And ended up with mid-on.
Yeah.
But you're right, 10 more needed. That's the crucial number on the board right now.
Yeah. Scrivens to face. Fackrell coming round the wicket. Rocks back, plays that to point. It's picked up, but rather clumsily from Amy Campbell. And they get a single. And then there's a bit of mad fielding.
I think Scrivens, those almost trying to make the point to Carr. Look, bat and ball, 1-1-1, and we'll get there within these 12 balls for the bonus point.
38 overs gone, 205 for 4, 9 runs to win, and they've got 72 deliveries to get those 9 runs in. So, barring some sort of miracle, it's dribbling away from Sparks, and it's looking like if Sunrisers can do it in these next 2 overs, they're going to get a bonus point. How many bonus points for a toaster?
For a toaster?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Is it
know.
like Green Shield stamps?
Don't think so.
And they might well be key as the season goes on though.
They could be, and I mean this would be Sunrisers' 3rd win out of 4 this season, 6 out of 7 if you go back into last season. So, very, very valuable.
Should we use the momentum word or not? Do you think it's a bit hackneyed?
Well, no, I think they have got. They have got
on
momentum.
a roll.
Yeah,
on a roll.
They have got momentum.
Scrivens surveys the field,
and all their wins would be with a bonus point.
Ah,
if they get there in the next 12 balls, of course.
Ellis around the wicket. Scrivens plays that to point, but there's a fielder and they have a shy at the stumps. Oh, it's a direct hit. Oh, goodness me. She must have been in a ground. Yes, that was a sort of bit of madness from from Amy Campbell there potentially. It was worth a go, and it's certainly but it's caused some furniture making for Naeem Ashraf. He's got to put the stumps back together again now.
No, definitely worth a go.
It was worth a go, yeah.
8 to win though is the result now.
206 for 4, as you say, 8 to win. Scrivens on 112 off 119 balls, Carr on 25 off 31 balls.
Surprised though we've not seen more of Arla. I don't know. She was getting a bit of treatment still. I know she missed the previous game and she was getting sort of quite a lot of.
She's on her haunches now, but
Yeah.
whether it's a workload thing, potentially perhaps.
There's sort of quite a lot of work seemed to be being done on her and lots of long conversations with the masseuse.
Okay.
So.
Ellis into Carr. Swipes at that, but only sends it straight to cover fielder, Captain Eve Jones, who just fields that easily, and there is no run.
So I don't know if it's a bit of a struggle just sort of getting her going at the moment. She bowled 3 for 15 at the top of the innings, but it'd been nice to. She looked in fairly smooth, rhythmical fashion,
yeah.
but it would have been nice to see a bit more of her, I think, but perhaps not.
Ellis to
day.
Carr. Plays at a point. Oh, and Bacon fumbles that one, and they get through for 1, and they're thinking about a second, but decide against it. And Scrivens will face the next ball from Bethan Ellis.
Be brave to run Scrivens out on
Oh
112,
God,
the
it's
highest Rachael Heyhoe Flint
Oh my
Trophy
God.
score, wouldn't it?
Goodness
Because
me,
I
that
think
would
Carr
be.
was keen on a second there, but then
We don't. I mean, you know, if you're going to
realised.
get it. Don't mess with the captain's figures as Bethan Ellis runs away from us up the hill to Scrivens. Oh, plays it up in the air. Oh my goodness! Oh, it's a drop catch. I don't think it's going to make a difference to the result here. However, it was a drop catch.
a bit of a sitter for Brewer there.
Clacked it up in the air behind the wicket keeper, running in. It's not happened. So 6 needed. They got 208 for
Scrivens
4.
was more importantly dropped on 24, but that one will
Yeah.
sting as well, I think.
Yeah, it was a swirly one really because it was up in the air as Bethan Ellis goes into Carr, who swipes that one to mid-on, and there is no run.
And it would have just given them something to
Yeah,
take away, but I mean the 89 runs between the first drop and the second is what's been crucial here.
ouch. Yeah, Eve Jones is just deciding what she wants to do. In these last overs, she's sending Amy Campbell out to the boundary at mid-on, and Rhea Fackrell to the long-on boundary for Amara Carr. Ellis in. Oh, and it's gone up in the air. Is this going to be another catch? It is, and she's out. Goodness me, that was a trap because she sent the fielder out.
It's Katie George again.
Oh,
Oh, no, it's Amy
no,
Campbell
was it
this
Amy
time.
Campbell? It's one
It's,
one
they're
of the two
hugging
of them.
each
They
other
were
and it's Campbell
both
who's got
out there.
got
She's
to the
looking
catch on
relieved.
that occasion. But it was almost a Katie George-esque catch. She probably didn't
Yes,
have quite
that's
as
right.
much to do there, Amy Campbell.
It was
But it was Campbell under it.
It was definitely the trap because, as I said, they just sent her out there, and then served one to her, and Amara Carr did as she was trapped to do. So it was a catch at mid-wicket by Amy Campbell, and that's Amara Carr gone. Scrivens still at the crease. 6 runs to win. Sunrise on 208 for 4.
It was the right
no,
thing to
208 for 5, beg your pardon.
do, though, wasn't it? Because with
Oh yeah,
7 balls left for the bonus point, it was a sort of
Yeah,
a shot
it was
to
a
nothing,
risk.
and if it had gone
Yeah.
for 6, then we'd have all been going, what a way to win the game. So fair enough, really. Flo Miller on her way. She'll be joining Grace
Flo
Scrivens.
Miller. Yes, indeed. 208 for 5. 6 runs to get. What can Central Sparks? Can they frustrate Sunrisers out of that bonus point? Because it will be in their minds that that might be a small mini victory if they can keep it from doing that. Especially because I think the weather's about to do
I
something
think
naughty.
the rain's coming in from
Yeah.
the left of where we're sitting at the railway end here. I can just start to feel the odd spot in the air.
There's a temperature drop, a sudden temperature drop.
It's light at the moment, but it feels as if it at some point is going to get quite heavy. Hopefully not before we packed up the kit,
Yeah.
would be my main wish, but let's see.
So as we all return to our positions, and it was the end of the over, so 39 overs gone, 208 for 5. Sunrisers need 6 runs. What can Sparks do? What can Eve Jones convey to Fackrell to do in these last few balls potentially? Oh, Scrivens tries a reverse play there, but misses the ball completely, and there is no run. That was exciting.
Why not go for the reverse sweep at this stage? It's important as well to say at this stage, if you've enjoyed the commentary today, do make sure you join us for Sparks' next game, which Claire Jenkins will be in charge of at Edgbaston, and that's against the Northern Diamonds.
Scrivens comes forward and just places that in the onside, and they get through for a single. One more off that chunk. So 5 to go. They only need 5 runs. 64 balls remaining. 209 for 5. Scrivens is coming to have a little chat with Flo Miller here. She said, get me on strike or just drop and run.
And at Northampton, that's where Sunrisers take on South East Stars next. That's a really big game now, given South East Stars' form and given, frankly, Sunrisers' form. You know, they're sort of the two contenders to the Southern Vipers.
Have that on your
crown.
Second screen while you're listening to the Central Sparks one.
But as I say, we were talking about it earlier, 4 into the semi-final, so you've just got to finish in the top half. So even though Sparks will be losing their 3rd game, having won 1, they will still have a chance this season. That I think that's the beauty of opening up that playoff system.
Fackrell to Miller, plays that to short square. Katie George herring in there, not taking any prisoners. They just got a single there. 210 for 5. 4 more runs to win. 63 deliveries. We're Fackrell bowling.
So they need at least a 2 somewhere to get there. It's because of the dot brought on by the reverse sweep.
Scrivens comes forward. Ooh, plays that straight back to the back to the bowlers. 4 runs, and that's it. The winning runs. 4 runs to the captain, Grace Scrivens, who finishes the game with a 4, and also her score is 118 off the 123 balls she's faced. Flo Miller just got 1 off the 1 balls, and the score is wickets in hand 5, 214 for 5 Sunrisers finish, and a bonus point because it's within that 40 overs. So they had 2 balls to spare, and they got that bonus point. So frustrating for Central Sparks. However, having lost 2 quick wickets in the power play when they were batting, I think they will be pleased to have got through to 214, but Grace Scrivens had other plans in hand, I think, Mike.
Yeah, certainly did. Time that to absolute perfection, didn't she? Got the bonus point, 214 for 5. If Freeborn, who you're seeing there, had taken the catch on 24 of Scrivens, it could have been a different game, but she set things up with the 93. Our thanks for Claire Jenkins. She'll be with you at Edgbaston. Do join her, Raf Nicholson and Sid Egan for that game, which is on the weekend. On Saturday at Edgbaston, Sunrise, as we say, go to South East Stars for what looks another really big clash. I'll just run you very quickly through the card, and then we'll say goodbye for now. But this game, as I say, was set up really by Abby Freeborn's 93. It gave Sparks a total of 214, and it meant that the Sunrisers had to come out and chase that. Dowse was out off just her 3rd ball in the 2nd over, caught by George spectacularly off the bowling of Grace Potts. At that stage we were thinking, what if? Griffith was dropped off the very next ball but went on to make 37, and Grace Scrivens was also dropped on 24 in that significant partnership of 110 at the top of the innings for Sunrisers. Griffith out, caught by George again off the bowling of Fackrell, this time a spectacular diving forward catch on the boundary. 37 runs Griffith made in the end before she was out caught. George bowled Fackrell. Grucock LBW to Fackrell for 5. Villiers was out for a breezy 16 off 14 balls, caught again by Katie George, her 3rd catch of the innings off Bethan Ellis, and then the sub Amy Campbell catching Amara Carr on 26 from the sort of the penultimate over before the bonus point target was going to elapse. So she went for a big hit out to mid-wicket, was caught off Bethan Ellis, who picked up 2 wickets. Flo Miller came in and was not out 1 off 1 ball, so did her job, but the person who really did the job in this game, as Grace Scrivens 118 from 123 balls in 160 minutes, 13 fours and 1 6 to finish not out on 118. Emily Arlett 3 overs 15 for none. Grace Potts 8 overs, no maidens 37 for 1, although she really deserved to have 3 in that wickets column. Katie George 5 overs, no maidens 36 without reward. Ria Fackrell 8.4 overs in the end, 1 maiden 51 for 2. Fairly tidy bowling from Fackrell there. Baker went 6 overs, no maidens 37 for no wicket. Not really her day in the end. Bethan Ellis 9 overs, no maidens 38 for 2. Arguably coming out with the best figures. But this was all about Grace Scrivens for the Sunrisers, giving Sunrisers their 3rd win from 4 in this competition. It comes over the Central Sparks here at Chester Road, Kidderminster, by 5 wickets. We will see you again soon.
In Worcestershire's embrace, we stand tall, a vibrant tapestry, woven by the threads of all. In the shadow of the majestic spire, the roar of a captivated crowd inspires, where Elgar's notes dance upon the breeze. Through winding valleys, hills and trees, along the Severn, the railway winds, capturing and enchanting hearts and minds. Our culture and heritage in history steeped, a passion for community, upon which we reap. But now, a new season about to be born. Here's to fearless warriors, ready to face the storm.